And next, Roy Moore on when he first was struck by the woman who would become his wife. According to Roy Moore, she would have been 15 or 16 years old at that time. He was about 30. This is his own recollection. And Martin, today's incredible pushback from all of these three men came as we are learning more from Roy Moore. And this is in his own words, specifically about when his wife, Kayla, first caught his eye years ago. And she was very young.
Right. This is all important because, of course, many of Moore's supporters say that they do not believe the words of his accusers. So we decided to go at this from another direction, which is Roy Moore himself.
Wow, Mark.
In 2005, Roy Moore published So Help Me God, a book about his life and politics. This, by the way, is the opening of the audio version, which Moore reads himself.
It doesn't seem that long ago that I became a circuit judge in Etowah County.
Moore mixes controversial political stands with personal stories. In Chapter 5, entitled Providential Design, Moore talks about attending a dance recital and being enthralled by a young performer.
Many years before, I had attended a dance recital at Gadsden State Junior College. I remembered one of the special dances performed by a young woman whose first and last names began with the letter K. It was something I had never forgotten.
Moore's describing when he first laid eyes on his future wife, Kayla Kisor, who he would eventually see again at a Christmas party years later.
Anxious to meet her, I began with the line, "Haven't we met somewhere before?" And she replied, "I don't think so."
Listen to Moore tell this story again of the dance recital and the captivating young performer, this time in an interview this past summer. It includes a detail that was left out of the book, a time frame.
But I remembered that, didn't meet her there. I left and it was, 8 years later or something, I met her. And when she told me her name, I remembered KK. And I said, "Haven't I met you before?" Of course, she was younger. She says, "I don't think so."
When the couple married, he was 38 and she was 14 years younger. It's a marriage that appears to be holding strong. Moore emphatically denies all of the allegations made against him, and Kayla is standing by her man.
He is a loving father and a grandfather. And most important, he is a Christian.
But Moore's own story of how he came to know his wife seems to mirror his accusers' accounts of an older man interested in younger teens. By his own words, Moore's timeline suggests Kayla was 23 when they spoke at that Christmas party. But 8 years or so earlier, when Moore was in his early 30s and captivated by her performance, Kayla Kisor was 15 or 16. There's nothing to suggest Moore had any contact with Kayla when she was a teen. But when Moore was first drawn to her, she was the same age as Beverly Young, who's now come forward accusing Moore of sexually assaulting her behind a restaurant where she worked. Young was a sophomore then, seen in this yearbook photo, from the same high school and the same class of another young teen, Kayla Kisor.
Roy Moore and Kayla will celebrate their 32nd wedding anniversary next month. Aaron?
All right, Martin, thank you very much. That picture, rather disturbing, seeing those two young girls side by side out front. Now a member of the AL.com editorial board and a VP at Alabama Media Group, which includes all the major papers in the state of Alabama, Michelle Holmes. She's back with me. And the board recently published an editorial that said Moore is grossly unfit for office and cannot become a U.S. Senator. Michelle, I want to give you a chance to respond to that report. And obviously, Roy Moore, in his own words, admitting he was enthralled by his future wife when she was just 15 or 16 years old. He would have been about 30. That is pretty disturbing to see, and these are his own words.
Thank you. I'm happy to respond to that. That is the work of Kyle Whitmire, an Alabama journalist at AL.com, who put that time frame together in a published column today. I think that's the kind of work that the press in Alabama is doing. Despite the press conference call today in which the Roy Moore camp said, we're here to ask the kind of questions that the press is not asking. We're here, we're asking these questions My reporters, for the most part, are born and raised in Alabama. They've been doing this work on the behalf of Alabamians their entire adult lives. We're bringing out stories that matter, and this is certainly one of them.
They matter a lot, Michelle. The question is, do you think right now they are going to matter with voters when obviously you have the Roy Moore camp coming out, as they had today, Dean Young, one of them there, urging voters to think about more over the Thanksgiving holiday, calling all of this sort of a group from hell attacking Roy Moore, including media like yourselves, like us, including Mitch McConnell, including Democrats. Let me just play Moore's friend, Dean Young.
I want y'all to think in your brain, Judge Moore that we've known for 25 years, are we going to be sold a bill of goods by Mitch McConnell and the fake news? Are we? Are we that gullible? And the answer is going to be no.
What do you think? Where do you think voters stand right now, Michelle?
I think the people of Alabama are kind and generous and smart. I think the people of Alabama are rejecting this, seeing through this. Now, the voter turnout's a different story, and this really comes down to who gets out to the polls.
And that obviously is going to be the crucial question. But thank you for being with us and for sharing all of your incredible work. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.